So, good afternoon, my impatiens. How are you all doing? How art thou? How art thou, my impatiens? How are things going? I am live and I'm ready to perform for all of you. Pete says, what's going on? Not much is going on, Pete. What's going on with you? So it's Friday evening. Let's see if this explodes or not. No, it didn't. That's awesome. All right. So I cracked open a nice salsa water here. I know certain brands you got to open slowly because if you don't, they explode. All right. Pete says, have they got a group home picked out for you yet? Not yet, Pete. Not yet. Not yet, Pete. How art thou, my impatience? How art thou? Yeah, so I was supposed to go to the NAMI Pros program today, but my father accused me of giving him nasty stares, and he dropped me back off. He's like, "All right, I'm not doing this," so it didn't actually happen. I was supposed to, but I needed my father to take me, and we weren't getting along during the car ride, so it didn't actually come to fruition. But I'm going to do. Somebody says you treat your father horribly. Pete says, I hope they're able to recover from everything you put them through. All right. All right. Let's. Well, I'll hear you out for a moment here. What exactly? Have I put them through? I feel like I'm generally the passive one in the relationship, aside from the rants I go on the internet. You know, whatever. Let's change the topic. It seems like all we're talking about, obviously, is my hostily dependent relationship with my parents. Somebody says, "What do you mean?" So if you see my relationship through social media, you'll see me throwing tantrums on social media. But if you actually saw the relationship as it actually was, you would see my mother's the one who's yelling and abusive to me. My father's the one who's yelling and abusive to me. My stepfather's the one who's yelling and abusive to me. And I'm generally the passive one who throws tantrums on social media. You know, I behave like a child who has no power, and they just rant at me what a loser I am. That's basically the relationship. And I don't assert myself or stick up for myself. Somebody says you accuse your. No, I said I didn't accuse them of sexually. I said I feel like they sadistically got off from pharmacologically abusing me, but apparently that's not the case. You know, I'm really frustrated. I feel the constraints of my life, and I bring charges of sexual perversity. But you know, their intention was to help me. They were not getting off that I was on so much medication. Although I smashed a plate on Thanksgiving, that was a reaction to my mother's narcissistic baiting, if you know what I mean. It means my mother was trying to incite and provoke me into reacting, and I did. And in the end, I got taken to the hospital. I'll illustrate for you a concept here that really illustrates exactly what narcissistic baiting is. Hold on, let's see if I can find it here, though, because I'm. Yeah, here we go. This really illustrates the concept of narcissistic baiting, if you don't know. So the mom and dad are saying, "You're a loser, the bane of our existence. You suck so much." And then the mom says, "Oh my God, you punched a hole in the drywall." And then Otto gets taken to the hospital. "Oh no, they're taking me to the psychiatric hospital. I should have controlled my emotions. Now I'll have to take tons of medication." That's basically, realistically, Otto's the passive one. Then he throws a tantrum on social media or does something, but you can't this is basically. This is basically it's reactive abuse. It's reactive to narcissistic bait. It's a reaction to narcissistic baiting. Pete says, "You say everything is actually my parents' fault. Grow up. I'm not going to argue with a violent delusion." Well, Pete, you say everything is my fault and my parents are saints. So you take the complete opposite approach. You say I'm the complete problem and my parents can do no wrong. Maybe it's shades of gray. Pete says all evidence points to you being the issue. Now, I think my mother's a covert narcissist who abuses me. Same with my father. They just don't display it on social media. It's not. No, I mean, you're Pete. I'm going to suspend you because, quite frankly, you're wrong. You don't see the relationship. Yeah. So let's change the topic, though. So I got bowling tomorrow with Nami. Hopefully, I could. Obviously. Sleeves says, "Hey, big dog, how you doing, Sleeves? How you doing?" Sleeves asks, "Having another rough day? It seems that way, yeah." Sleeves says, "How you feeling today, Andrew? You seem down." Well, I was just getting ranted at by. So he says, "Thank God it's Friday, buddy. Thank God it's Friday." Yes, thank God it's Friday. TGIF, yes. Hey, Cinnamon, how art thou? So it says, turn that frown upside down and smile. Smiling is so good for you. Hey, Cinnamon, how art thou? Somebody asks, did I wear sunscreen today? No. Why do you ask? Did I need sunscreen? It's kind of a cloudy, gloomy day. I didn't actually put it on. Horn Dog says, let's talk about women. What about women? I'm interested in women. I'd like a girlfriend. What about women, Horn Dog? So he says, what are some good places you can take one on a date? Well, I know in my 20s, I haven't gone on a date in years, but I know in my 20s, I used to take women to Starbucks, to like a diner, to a restaurant, maybe Round One or Dave and Buster's, which is a gaming arcade. Where would you take a woman on a date if I had a date? Somebody says maybe bowling since you're getting good. That's a good idea. Somebody says bowling is a good idea. Yeah. Sleeves asks me, have you ever gotten a milkshake with 2 straws on a date? No, I've never done that. Maybe someday I'll have the opportunity to share a milkshake with a woman. Somebody says take him to a nice bar or a wine bar. With my mental health issues, it might be best to abstain from drinking. But it's an idea. Maybe the woman will like that. La, 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 la. No, I don't have a girlfriend. I'm chatting with some women on dating apps though, but I'm single at the moment. So it says maybe take a woman on a ferry ride around the city. That would be fun. Yeah, that would be fun for both her and I. All right, Chiba and Pete are both gone. Bye-bye, Chiba and Pete. Okay. Chiba, bye-bye. Pete, bye-bye. They're both gone. Yeah, it's really time I start kicking some of these people. Yeah, because to be honest with you, I'm not really getting. I mean, I know people say Chiba has good intentions, but I'm not really getting anything from her. You know, her comments besides, you know, she just upsets me. One sec, let me block her on Discord too. Yeah, I'm just gonna. I got rid of Pete and Chiba today. Patrick's next to go. I mean, like I said, I'm not getting anything from these people besides just real. Yeah, let's get rid of Chiba. Yeah, see you later, Chiba. Kick Chiba, kick, and let's get rid of Pete too. And Pete is gone too. Okay. I kicked him. Yeah, I mean, they don't make me feel too good. So, I mean, obviously, when somebody doesn't make you feel too good, why are you going to keep them around, Somebody says sometimes you got to take back control, big dog. Maybe one day they can come back around again. And while I'm at it, I'll ban Patrick too. I'll get rid of Patrick too. So I got a call. I think it's from my mother. Let's see what she has to say. Here we go. Hey, Mom, I'm on with the inpatient, so don't say anything. But how are you doing? What type of fish? What's that? Yeah, I guess salmon. Can I have salmon? I guess rice. All right, what time? 5? All right, thank you. The warden is checking in, yes. All right. So on that note, let's call this. Let's end this live stream here. Peace out, my guys.